All right, so we're going to talk about the capstone. All right, so ITSY 2341 has a particular capstone where you have to create a pen test report. In this report, you're going to have to do an executive summary and a few other things mentioned here. Now, as part of the scenario process to make sure that we fall in line with things, I just want to make sure that you're able to see screen and you're capable of actually seeing the capstone files. So within your course, you'll see resources and then you'll see capstone files. It's a little folder here. Now, in this, you're going to have the statement of work. Now, throughout the course, we've discussed the different types of documentation you're going to have when it comes to penetration testing for an environment, whether it be corporate, university, or any other organization outside of your home. So, being that we're doing this all kind of pseudo through your home network, we want to make sure that everything is set up correctly. So this video is going to help out to make sure that we are all set. You got the right equipment and everything is done um, according to the requirements for the capstone. So first off, introduction on the capstone piece. We're going to go back to the, and within Engage Mind Tap and look at the information that we see here. We have a few areas of 14-2 that we're going to be performing. Now, in preparation to this, we want to make sure that we have all of the um, devices and systems within the VirtualBox platform. So without further ado, I'll pull it up here. So to gain access to the OVA, you're going to have to reach out to your instructor to get a link to a Google Drive, which will house the OVA. It's about 20-ish gig in size. Now, when it does expand out, it will take about 150 gig of storage space. So you need to make sure that for your host, i.e., your device that you're using to do all this stuff, has about at least 200 gig of space. Okay, I recommend at anything above an i6 or above processor. Within the I/O at the Innovation Outpost, you're going to have i7 desktops, which have about 48 gigs of RAM. That's great. I'm running on an i9 in this environment and also have about 64 gig of RAM. So what you may see here is a very different speed when it comes to making sure things work. And so if it's running a little slow, reach out to your instructor. It may be something involving Hyper-V actually being installed or being used. As you can see here, there's a few instances in this environment where Hyper-V is called out. Now, you do have to disable that to be able to allow the um, virtual machines to be able to operate in a functional manner, especially this domain controller here. So something to remember on the forefront. So let's go back to the actual page itself. So we're going to prepare ourselves in preparation for the penetration test. So download the OVA, get it installed by going to your VirtualBox, go to File, you're going to import appliance, and you're going to navigate to where you have that OVA file. And it will then import all of these VMs to your VirtualBox instance. Now, something to be sure of when you're doing this is make sure that you go through here, click on each one. You have to click on each one. So make sure that on the network adapter, whichever is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, whichever it is, make sure it says host only. So you see here it's on 2019, it's good. Server shows good. Win 7 shows good. Metasploitable shows good. And Kali shows good. All right. So from here, we're going to move over to the actual PDF that's a part of that SOW within your resources file. So the statement of work discusses about what the project's all about, what you're trying to do, the client information, making sure that you understand who you're working for. We used Looney Tune characters for this scenario. And then your scope of work covers these assets here. and it goes through the testing objectives, making sure that you're going through and checking the boxes as far as making sure that there's some type of best practice or something that you could go ahead and get started on as far as piquing your curiosity, seeing what you could find, and providing evidence to that reflect that within your report for your capstone project. So this is to help you keep your thought process moving in the right direction. Now, as you can see, the deliverable here, this deliverable is associated directly with the deliverable requirement for your capstone project, which is a penetration test report. Now, there are opportunities for you to be able to download and look at about 20 plus different penetration test reports to get an idea what it entails, how it's typed up, and who it's written for, and et cetera, et cetera. In this case, you're working for a company called Acme Corporation, and you're going to be working for the point of contact down here at the bottom. You have Wiley Coyote, who's the CIO, or the Chief Information Officer. And so making sure that all these things are taking place within your area consent, not to worry about your timeline. Depending on the time frame where you're actually reviewing these videos, or at least this video, you want to get this ready and started as soon as possible so that you can get it out of the way. Typically, I mean, depending on how your course is laid out, whether it be the one time per week or twice per week, you're going to get very limited lab time involved with this. So we want to make sure that you have enough time at home to be able to perform the steps necessary. Another aspect that you're going to have to do is install Nessus Essentials. Nessus Essentials is anyway, Nessus Essentials is the vulnerability scanner that you're going to be having. You're going to install that on your host system. So do a Google search for Nessus Essentials and download that, install it on your home computer. You'll have a registration for about a year, and you'll have to use your personal email address, et cetera, et cetera. Now, when you log in here for the first time, you're going to do a host scan. We won't get into that just yet. We're going to save that for another video. So I just want to make sure you have all the stuff that you need to be successful at the outset and move forward in the right direction for this capstone course. All right, so let's look again at the video area here where we're looking at the pen test report requirements. All right, some of these, it just kind of gives some information, basic information about what you're going to be performing these steps. And then preparing for pen testing is essentially what we're doing right now. We're making sure that we have Nessus Essentials installed. We also want to make sure that the penetration lab is set up, so you download that OVA and import it, like I said earlier in this video. And then at that point, we begin performing the penetration testing, which we'll start covering in another video. So thank you so much for this introductory video for the ITSY-2341 Capstone Project. Have a good day.